This is the primal scream of a dying regime.
Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay. Tuesday, 14 July, Year of our Lord 2026. We're going to go, we got Navarro on the phone with some breaking news from the White House. Eric Metaxas is going to join us here momentarily. Peter, we had a good print today, as Rick Santelli tells us. Is that solely because oil prices were coming down for a moment because we notified Congress last night that we're back at war? It starts the 60-day clock. Is there now, I guess, bought into the process of the War Powers Act, which I think is totally unconstitutional, but I guess you're going to do it. You're going to do it, right? Maybe we'll test the constitutionality of that. But the print was a good print, was it not, sir?
Yes, but Steve, it was not a good print because oil prices went back down. Yes, that was part of it, but we have a broad deflationary trend that's been going on for over a year because Trump policies are basically deflationary. We were getting increased productivity. You saw in this, again, real wages are up. And if you just go category by category by category, they're benefiting from Trump policies. Remember, the big ones are the deregulation, the tax cuts, which lower the burden both on businesses and give people purchasing power. You got strategic energy dominance, and you got the fair trade. Good print. The big thing here, I did a little piece for Real Clear Markets. The line is, it's one thing to get egg on your face. It's another to get a whole omelet. You had this guy, Chris Waller, one of the Fed Board of Governors, coming out yesterday, basically arguing for rate hikes and whining about we'll watch the CPI tomorrow. And sure enough, today it's exactly the opposite. That's an omelet on your face, brother. That's an omelet. And it's really important that Warsh gets a little religion on this message, Steve. You don't raise rates into the teeth of an energy price shock, okay? Bernanke didn't do it. Greenspan didn't do it. You don't do it because it won't work. It won't help, okay? And you've got these clowns on the Board of Governors who are Bidenites and Powellites, and it's just troubling to hear that. And then you get a great print like this. So, let's see what happens. We're fighting hard at the White House to get prices.
But hang on. But how can Warsh? He just got over there, right? There's 28,000. Somewhat absurd number that's over at the central bank, which I question why do you even have a central bank. But for the first time, you actually have governors that are hostile to the administration. You've got Powell, you've got Waller. I mean, Warsh is walking in over there like it's Saigon in '68, is it not, sir?
It's basically 5 of the 7, Steve. That four are Biden appointees. Waller is a Minnesotan. I don't know what they drink in the water there, but those folks don't think straight. I'm concerned about Warsh, to be honest, because he came out way more hawkish in his first speech than I think conditions warranted. I mean, this whole idea of putting inflation first. I mean, the Fed's supposed to balance employment. That's our people, Steve. Okay. Wall Street ain't working. Employment with inflation. Okay. And when you put the inflation target first in a Trump world where everything we do is designed to lower the inflation rate, it creates the kind of cognitive dissonance we got with Powell going back to the first term, where he's raising rates because he thinks we can't grow that fast without causing inflation. And sure enough, we grow that fast without causing inflation, but they put the rate hikes on and they slow us down. It's like, it's just very, very frustrating to me. These guys just are thinking in an old paradigm. They don't understand Trumpnomics, and this won't end well, Steve. They're just waiting. They're salivating to get some kind of bad report, and then they'll pounce all over it. And for some reason, Wall Street seems to like that as well. And I don't know. You look at the financial news networks, and they're all like skewed towards rate hikes. And I can't figure that out because the underlying economics don't work. History doesn't work. They're
all set for. They want a Greenspan put. They're all set for. I think it's the exact opposite. They all want easy money and rate cuts until President Trump's in office, right? And then they do a rate cut for Biden when they never should do one. And all they want is rate hikes for Trump because they want to slow down. They want they want to get rid of him. They can mouth, oh, we love him, et cetera. They want to get rid of him. They think he's disruptive and breaking up the ruling class in this country. They want to get rid of him. And this is why you're even having this discussion of why Powell's hanging around. Talk to me about USMCA, the trade deal we've got with Mexico and, the North with Mexico and Canada. You were one of the big architects of that. Why does the president want to throw it overboard now, sir? I'm
not going big architects on that. I was big cutting what would have been the perfect China deal. But that USMCA thing, I was with the boss on that. He was always like skeptical because it had like literally thousands and thousands of moving parts, right? And ultimately what USMCA depends on is the honesty and integrity of your trading partners, okay? And for better or for worse, and it certainly is for worse, Mexico particularly has allowed itself, under the rules of the USMCA, to become a staging area for Chinese parts in autos, okay, as well as a staging area for all sorts of other things. But here's the deal. There's the piece in The Hill today, okay, recommend reading it, basically talks about how Trump, my president, came out with a tweet that said, tariffs are great because Toyota announced they're moving their Tacoma mid-size pickup to San Antonio, okay, from Tijuana. Okay, that's a big deal. And his truth was tariffs work, right? And then Jameson Greer, our great USTR, came out with a report, like literally days later, that basically went chapter and verse about how our auto and auto deficit has skyrocketed when under USMCA was supposed to fall. And the primary driver is the friggin' Chinese doing it again to us, just screwing us again, okay? And so you sound surprised at that. You and Lighthizer worked for 2 years. You had a deal that took care of the 7 original sins of the Chinese Communist Party state-owned industries, all of them, for 2 years. Li He, you had sign-off, and then at the very last second, Xi and Wang Qishan took a look at it after their One Belt, One Road conference with Putin and said, why are we signing something that makes us a subsidiary of the foreign devils? They tore it up. Next thing you know, wait for it, pandemic, wait for it, intrusion in the 2020 election. Their number one objective has been to get rid of Donald Trump and to make sure they still have access to the United States with their mercantilist policies, as the elites in this country want to give them, to sell their cheap junk and ship high value added jobs over to China. Correct, sir? Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'll tell you, I mean, look, the USMCA would probably would have worked if we had stayed in power for the second term, because Lighthizer would have been around to police the damn thing. But you negotiate that deal, and then you put Biden in charge of that. What the hell's going to happen? I mean, these people, they're just like, they were incompetent, asleep at the wheel, and all of that stuff. But the good news is we're getting pretty much all of the Tacoma pickup truck capacity in the United States. That's not as good as GM building the cars with American ownership and American workers, but it's a lot better than having a foreign company doing it in a foreign, in a foreign country with Chinese parts. It's a big deal, Steve. It's a big deal. It's the beginning, right?
As they call it.
It's going to, Honda, Nissan, yada, yada, yada. They're all coming. And this thing about communist China, I want to give an assignment to the War Room and really go to my website, peternavarro.com, and refresh your memory on the Navarro report, the 3-volume Navarro report. The cat's out of the bag. The MSNBC has been briefed on some news coming out about
hold it. This is a beautiful segue. You've gotten pretty good at this. If this White House thing doesn't work out for you, I think we got a co-hosting gig for you. I want to be very specific. The Navarro report is still one of the best mathematical reports of what happened in 2020, because at your heart, you're a mathematician / economist. That's why everybody, where do they go get? Because you're right. To refresh your memory, start by before the Thursday speech by the president or address to the nation by the president. You should refresh it. Where do the people go today, Peter? Because I want to push that out hard.
Yeah, it's peternavarro.com. It's right there. It's obviously for free. And Steve, the central insight of the report was that the Democrats put in place an elaborate system which made fraud easy. Okay, I called it the grand stuff the ballot box strategy. Taking things away like signature verification and extending absentee ballot. All that stuff enables the steal. So when you have that, and then you put on top of that what you're likely going to see with these documents coming out, you understand why you and I, when we were trying to do the Green Bay sweep legally under the Electoral Count Act of 1887, all we wanted was a fair counting of the votes to look again. And like we were branded election deniers, liars, this, that, and the other thing. Hey, you're going to see if I haven't seen this, I'm not directly involved in any of this, but as long as it's out there, because there's briefings and like that, you're going to see that those votes should have been counted. J6 should have ended a whole lot differently, and shame on Mike Pence, okay? Shame on Mike Pence.
Well, or you just can't certify him. It's not about getting Trump electors in there. As we said, the Electoral Count Act of 1887. And why did this happen, ladies and gentlemen? Because after the Civil War, even before, when they stole one from Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams and the boys, the elite up in Massachusetts stole one then. Then after the Civil War, it was a fracas. They decided they'd put good order and discipline. You don't do a revote. You kick it into the House of Representatives. And you do state-by-state delegation vote. Guess what? Donald John Trump would be president. But divine providence, I think Peter said it was good that we had 4 years in the wilderness and that Bannon and Navarro, in God's infinite wisdom, spent a little time in federal prison. That's okay. We got that. Navarro, we got to bounce. Where do people go? peternavarro.com. Where else?
Well, that'll get you everything. It gets you to the Truth Social, X, Instagram, Getter, and my Substack. Okay, just a lot of content is coming out. And today, go to the Hill, support the Hill. They put good stuff out. I got a piece in Real Clear on CPI. And again, it's just what I'm trying to do, Steve, is message the Trump economics message. Okay, that's what we have to do to win in November. Okay, and that's my job description here. Okay, it's like get stuff, create jobs, and let people know we're doing it.
Populist nationalist economics will win every time. Peter Navarro, thank you, brother. You're the best. Go back to work now. What a warrior. Resilience. Eric Metaxas is going to be here. Why do we continue to focus on the revolution? Not simply about the history of it, what it has to teach us about today, in the fight that you have to protect and defend and bequeath this constitutional republic. It is a long, tough struggle, not made for ribbon clerks. Eric Metaxas, Revolution next.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
I want to thank our sponsors. Birch Gold, now more than ever in times of turbulence. And the president just sent over notification to the House and Senate that he's reinitiated the war, or the military kinetic event in the Middle East, put them on a 60-day clock. I guess this is for conforming to the War Powers Act, although I don't know why we would do that, but I'm sure somebody's going to explain to me why we're doing it. But anyway, he's officially notified him. So we're back at war again. I think he's developed a forcing function that, as much hair as it has on it, I think will get people's attention. Hey, we're not doing this. The American people are not putting out right now, the run rate, I think it's $100 billion. Now, that includes the big ramp up in the first couple of months we were all out, but $100 billion a quarter, it looks like. In the $350 billion third reconciliation, a big part of that's defense. And remember, if you get any defense increase at all, you've got to meet the Democrats on the social welfare part. That's how you get to these massive, massive deficits. Birch Gold, so now more than ever. You can find out all about it. Go to the End of the Dollar Empire and get a hard copy edition, birchgold.com, promo code or /Bannon. Thank you, Mo. You can stop yelling at me. And at the End of the Dollar Empire, this is sold out. But you put your name in with Philip Patrick and the team and go get on a waiting list. But it's online for free, and we're coming up with the 9th free installment, which I think is going to rock the house. So go check it out today. And then talk to Philip Patrick and the team why gold's been a hedge for 5,000 years of mankind's history. Also, the folks down in Texas, Patriot Mobile, 972-PATRIOT. Call that number right now. Talk to someone with the East Texas accent. If you want to have a prayer session, go for it. Some of the best people around. A Christian company supporting Christian values. And they have done so much. Glenn and Jenny Story, the best mobile phone service in the world. Patriot Mobile. Eric Metaxas, resilience. The one thing about revolution, because we're not doing and I know you didn't do the book just to write the book of the history of the time. It was for a deeper purpose, because what it can tell us about our country, what it can tell us about the character of our country, what it can tell us about the character of the people that delivered, because there weren't many, right? Particularly at the beginning. It's about resilience. You keep saying, and I think you've stuck the landing on this. These people, particularly the initial group, believed this was a sacred cause and this country would be a sacred trust. And that's why they risked all to do it against overwhelming odds and everything. Right now, today, the thing I love about your book, and this is, I think, folks, when you get into it, forget how you know the outcome, forget how you know the moves, forget how you know what happened. Right now, down in the Battery, on the 14th of July, in the year of our Lord, 1776, all they looked out and saw a forest of British warships, the Royal Navy, the greatest institution for inflicting pain that had ever been developed. This is how they built an empire, plus the British Army, 32,000, I think, 22,000 Brits and 6,000 to 8,000 German Hessian mercenaries, the biggest badasses in the world. That's what you looked out upon when you looked there. You didn't know the outcome. The power of this book is every page you turn, and in their own words, they had no idea how this would turn out, but they had a deep, abiding faith that they were agents for divine providence in doing something that was sacred, and that's where they were prepared to risk all. Eric Metaxas, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, that's the thing. Thank you, Steve, is that this is a battle today. As I listen to your program, we're in this battle now. So the question is, it's one thing to get angry. The question is, where is your faith? Now, it's one thing to say you're resilient. Some people, you knock them down, they get up. You knock them down, they get up. The question is, why do you get up? The reason that George Washington and almost all of the others were indomitable was, I'll put it bluntly, because their faith in the God of the Bible. They believed he was with them in the sacred cause. And in the sacred cause, that word, it's not even enough. It was a holy cause. They believed that the Lord was with them. When you believe the Lord is with you, and we say that humbly. You don't say like, hey, God's with me. You humble yourself. You're aware of your own sin, and you say, Lord, what an honor it would be that we could fight for your purposes in history, Lord. Search my heart. They were always, all of them, humbling themselves before God. It wasn't, chest beating, triumphalism. They thought we deserve to lose because we are not as powerful as the British Navy or Army. The Hessians are frightening. But if God is with us and we are with God, if this is God's idea, we must fight on no matter what. God is the one who determines who wins. They believed this, and we need to understand that's not just a nice idea. It's not just a handful of them who were Christians. This was the leadership. George Washington, above all, they knew this was true. And it's like right out of the Old Testament, they could see past the forest of masts in the Navy. They could see past that, in a sense, to like, God is on his throne. There are chariots of fire that are invisible. This is real, right? We have to understand we're in a battle. Either we're working for God's purposes, or it's just politics, or it's just power, and we're no better than the other guy. We have to be aware that what we're doing, this is God's idea, and that they were aware of this at the time. And so we're in a battle right now. I think I told you, Barnes & Noble is still not carrying the book. It's been on the bestseller list 4 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. You walk into a Barnes & Noble, you want to see the battle. How is it possible that every other New York Times bestseller is on tables in stacks at Barnes & Noble? There are people out there that hate the truth. They hate this narrative. They hate the idea that Trump is going to reveal fraud in the 2020 election. They hate it. And they'll do anything, including lie, censor, whatever it is, try to get ahead of the story, call it disinformation. We are in a battle right now. It's the same battle. It's the battle of good versus evil. It's just that we're alive now, and it takes a certain form now. And I think that we have to understand that the men of the revolution, they were keenly aware that unless they humble themselves before God and look to him in the midst of this hell, there's no way they're going to be resilient. They're going to go home. Common sense says, you know what? Go home. Why are you fighting this fight? But if you knew why you're fighting, and that's why I hope people will read my book or acquaint themselves, when you understand that this is a battle that goes back 250 years ago, a battle for liberty, God's idea of America. America is God's idea. We need to know that. And every lie, from the New York Times to MS Now, they cannot bear the truth. Obviously, Barnes & Noble is uncomfortable with the narrative in my book. You want Mike Pence's book? They got a big stack. You want any other book? They got big stacks of Jill Biden's book. They don't carry this book. Honestly, I didn't think I was doing anything revolutionary in writing the book. It's an historical book. You've read it. This is not some MAGA tract. But when you tell the truth, it scares the other side. They are scared to death of the truth. They're scared that the 2020 election interference is going to be shown. They can't bear it. They have to lie. They have to gaslight their audiences, hoping that enough people will believe the lie, hoping that people won't read the truth. So we're in this battle right now. And it's good to know, you're one of the generals in this, Steve. I mean, we need people to understand where we are right now. This is not just, another day in politics. This is an existential crisis for the soul of America. And I know, and your audience knows, they want to take Trump down. They want to destroy him because he is draining the swamp. He's on to them. I got to say, people say, may you live in interesting times. We are living in interesting times. We get to be players this ongoing revolution today. We get to do that.
That's a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times.
Exactly.
A couple things.
Right.
How many you've been it's 5 weeks. I think is the book out 5 weeks. You've been on the bestseller list for 4, including the initial first week, which was so important. 1 week we did miss it.
It sold, and the first week was number 2 in the bestseller list, and it sold so much that they ran out of copies, so they didn't ship copies, so it fell off the list because they only count books that have shipped. But every other week it has been on. We're going to find out tomorrow if it's on the week again. But try to imagine a New York Times bestseller at the top of the list. Nowhere to be found, not one copy. I walked into a Barnes & Noble in South Lake, Texas, a conservative area, not one copy. I asked the clerk, and he said, well, we've got 2 on order, 2 copies. They got stacks of Jill Biden's. They got every other book you want, every other bestseller, piles of them, not one copy of my book.
Can you hang on through the break? I want to ask you about the religious aspect of this, but how many hits? So you've been, is it 4 weeks you've been on the bestseller list out of 5 weeks?
4 out of 5 so far. Yes, 4 out of 5.
4 to 5 so far. And it's a massive bestseller. How many Fox hits have you done in the past 5 weeks, sir?
What's the Aramaic word for 0?
So Fox News, the great standard bearer, which had Pence on the great standard bearer and the driver of conservative culture. I just want you to repeat that. How many hits for the number 1 bestseller about the American Revolution that tells the true story, Eric Metaxas? How many times have you been on Fox?
I still hope to get on, but so far I have not been on Fox TV.
I'm not so sure they'll put you on after the shows you've been on that made this number 1. They can't eat crow. Also, the Murdochs are notorious. Well, first off, they're part of the Commonwealth. They're not even Americans. Oh, that's right. They switched and became Americans so he could buy a TV network. Oh, that's right. In the middle of the night. I'm sorry. He's so American. Complete farce. Eric Metaxas, hang on for 1 second. I want to see you on the other side. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. We're going to take a short commercial break. Eric Metaxas on the other side. Tej Gill. I think we're getting Tej Gill up, too. We're going to talk about Iran.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, for your medical freedom, All Family Pharmacy. Michael Kunzler and the team, you will love this company. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bannon for 10% off, Bannon 10. You cannot have your medical freedom until you have the distribution system working for you. That's why he's started an online pharmacy. Look, you have pharmacists, you have trained medical professionals, licensed medical professionals that will give you the prescriptions you need. He's got everything that you guys want, and that's why the feedback's been so terrific. Allfamilypharmacy.com. You talk to their advisors, talk to their consultants, /Bannon10, you get 10% off. Go check it out today and take the first step for true medical freedom away from big pharma and the big drugstore distribution systems and the big drugstore companies. Go check it out today. Have your own personalized system. Do it today. Allfamilypharmacy.com. So Metaxas, here's what I understand. Starting by, I guess, like 1525, 1530, England was racked with religious wars. Henry VIII, all the issues he had with the Vatican and, his marriages and getting an heir, the whole thing. Thomas More, you had the English Reformation was brutal. You had religious wars that eventually ended up with an official state church, a state Christian church that had, at least initially, many of the customs and traditions of Catholicism, but the king ran the deal. Why do you continue to say, and most of these, and particularly the initial wave of the Patriots, were obviously they were English subjects, but they were very English to their core, including many, not all, there's a lot of the Pilgrims and Puritans, but many were members of the Anglican Church here, the Episcopal Church, some in very good standing, a lot of vestrymen. Why do you continue to say that this is a religious and sacred cause from the colonists and the rebels and the people fighting for freedom, particularly that vanguard, where they're going against basically a country with a state religion that was Christianity, sir?
Right. Well, I'll tell you why, because a state religion means nothing. Our country, which is probably the most Christian country in the history of the world, is not officially a Christian nation. Why? Because at the heart of Scripture, at the heart of the Christian faith, is this idea called liberty. You cannot force people to be Christian. It doesn't matter, oh, you've been baptized, you claim to be a Christian. God looks on the heart. He knows, if you're saved by faith, right? It means that you're going to live in a different way. So you can't fool God by saying, I believe this, I belong to that church. So the Church of England was, first of all, filled with hypocrites, filled with people that themselves believed almost nothing, but wearing a collar. Those people exist in every denomination in Christendom. And the fact of the matter is that when William Wilberforce, I wrote a biography of Wilberforce, Amazing Grace, who brought about the abolition of the slave trade, it was the same story, is that the people who really believe are at odds with the people who just believe officially, right? So you had in England, just because it was officially Christian, as I say in my book, the elites in England, okay, including King George IV, the son of King George III, many of them were just notoriously, mocking of Christian faith. So you can say you're anything and it means nothing. The question is, do you live it? Do you believe it? So you had many in England who were true believers. What did they do? They went across the Atlantic to settle in the 13 colonies because they were being persecuted, because the official church of England, the state church, was persecuting Bible-believing Christians. You can go to China today and say, can I attend the official church? And they go, yeah, there's some official churches. You go to those churches where they wouldn't dare talk about politics or anything we don't want them to talk about because the state rules. But if you want to go to an underground church, you're in trouble. In England, it was the same thing. I mean, all through the 17th century, you have hordes of Bible-believing Christians saying, we're going to go across the Atlantic, take our chances in the new world, because in England, we're being persecuted. The Pilgrims were persecuted by King James I. And so official religion, we have to understand, it basically means nothing. It's just a tribal identity. The Americans were clearly serious, most of them very serious about their Christian faith. As for King George III, I think he was actually a Christian, but he was politically confused. You can actually be a Christian and get all kinds of stuff totally wrong. And many members of parliament were mocking of Christian faith. So it's just a battle. I mean, I talk about it in the book to some extent, because it really is at the heart of the American Revolution. In some ways, it was a spiritual war between people who really believed in the God of the Bible and in the idea of liberty and that our rights come from God, and a bunch of politicians in Parliament who just sneered at the idea. It's like, shut up, just do what you're told. We got the power. We will make you obey us. And the Americans said, no, we obey God rather than men. So it's something that's been playing out through the millennia and the centuries. It's happening now. I don't need to tell you. The Hollywood elites, the liberal elites in Washington, the rhino elites, they sneer at these ideas of our founding. They sneer at it. They sneer at the people in flyover country who hold to these ideas. They mock us for clinging to our Bibles and our guns. There's nothing new under the sun, Steve. We're fighting in the same revolution today, and the stakes are even higher than ever. Because it's now it's a global thing. We're dealing with China. We're dealing with Islamofascism. We are still called to look to the God of the Bible in the midst of this and to trust Him.
The folks that that have held their Bible and their guns dear had a pretty good track record in the United States of America and throughout the world, I might add. Metaxas, where do people go to get the book? Most importantly, where do they find you on your travels? People want to get a signed copy from you. They want to meet you. They want to thank you. They got tons of questions. Where do they go?
Yeah, well, I would say at this point, please go to Amazon. They've got 1-day shipping now. They got plenty of books at Amazon. The price is way cheaper than Barnes & Noble, I can tell you that. And I also, if you go to ericmetaxas.com, I am going to be in Maine this weekend, in Bangor, Maine, and Camden, Maine. I'm going to be in LA next week. I'm going to be in Nashville after that, signing books at Landmark Bookstore in Nashville. I'm preaching in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. A week after that, I'll be back in Dallas preaching at Elevate church. I'm signing books wherever I go, and on from there. So just ericmetaxas.com and Amazon, the best place to get the book. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, brother. It reads like a novel. It's a beach read. Like I said, you put this under your arm heading to the beach, people say, that is a smart person. You actually read the book, which you won't put down as soon as you dip into it. You will become a smart person, or at least smarter. Eric Metaxas, thank you.
Thank you.
Anti-fragile. That's a system. That's what the MAGA movement is. Anti-fragile. Resilience. That's what the rebels were. The revolutionaries. They get stronger as you put more stress on them. Tej Gill, isn't that the theory of the case of special warfare and commandos and Navy SEALs? They want to weed out the ribbon clerks very quickly from these training programs, and then take the people that can actually make it through the initial kind of couple of weeks, and then put you under intense pressure to see how anti-fragile and see if you actually grow and become better and become tougher. That pressure is needed. That chaos is needed, that stress is needed to get down to the core of character. This is what happened in the revolution. This is the testing we're going through right now as a country. What was it like in your training as a SEAL, sir?
100%, Steve. Pressure makes diamonds. You got to put constant pressure on people, and then that's how you grow character. That's how you bring out people's talents and abilities. Like you said, our forefathers were rebels. They created this amazing, great country by fighting back against tyranny. The English in 1776 was an incredible time. I think we need that again. Our country is filled full of corrupt politicians, corrupt leaders. We're being robbed at every corner. But yes, to your point, pressure makes diamonds. That's these selection programs for these special operations units and military wide, through it's not all just physical, because we have guys that show up that are literally Olympic athletes and they wash out. So you have to be mentally tough, mentally prepared, and you have to have the wherewithal to withstand time under pressure.
No, you can have be the greatest athlete in the world, but you're going to wash out. And in fact, if you go and
it's just like these wars that are going on right now, and between the United States and Iran and Russia and Ukraine, it's a test of time. It's a wherewithal. It's a grind. You have to be able to withstand the grind if you want to win. If you can't withstand the grind, then don't get into the game. So it's a war of attrition.
So the
selection programs. Sorry.
No, the president sent over notification to the House and Senate, I think last night, that we're officially back at war. I guess the MOU is gone now, and we're back at war to start the 60-day clock. Your thoughts about that, sir?
Unfortunately, that's the case. I think Trump wants to get out of this war. He was looking for a quick, decisive victory like Venezuela. He did not want this long, drawn-out war that it's turning into. My take on it is I think he's trying to bomb them into submission or bomb them back to the table. But the problem is the Iranians, they're tough hombres, like you would say, and they've been living under sanctions, embargoes, and everything since the early 80s. So bringing them back to the table is going to be difficult because we killed all the moderates. So now the hardliners are running the country, and Iran has created a decentralized command structure. So it's difficult to get all these decentralized commands and bring them back to the negotiating table. So the question is, who is really in charge of Iran right now? But we'll see. Hopefully it ends quick.
But this is what you brought up, decentralized command. The president just said yesterday, he was talking to somebody, and he said they had spent 11 hours or 12 hours in a continuous negotiation with this group, and they were told they had a deal. And then when they get back a couple hours later, this is what the president said, well, there was one group or some group they had to run it by, in which they didn't know, they hadn't been upfront about that, and that group didn't like a certain aspect of it. Next thing you know, they're lobbing drones and missiles into Qatar, into the field over there. and they're hitting a couple of these tankers in the Persian Gulf. And this gets to me when you've devastated their command structure as much as we have, you've gone down to sometimes almost a brigade level. Well, what you're finding out in this Darwinian system, the deeper you go down, you don't meet a lot of moderates. You meet people that aspire to the top, and they're even harder at the bottom than the hard at the top, because they're true believers and they feel they got to show they're true believers all the time. And so you don't have, and this is one of the things I've argued from the beginning, who do you even negotiate with? I mean, Trita Parsi said it, I think, the best. He says, look, I don't think you're ever going to get to a signed deal. It's too complicated. There's too many voices over there, and there's too many people looking to take advantage. Oh, they're selling you out to Trump. They're selling you out to the Americans. Follow us. And that's what's going to be very tough. And President Trump, as of, I think we've had 3 waves of attacks now in 3 nights, he said, hey, he's going to keep the pressure up, at least keep it up kinetically. Now, economically, he also put up and said, hey, oh, by the way, it's going to be a 20% service fee. Not a toll, a service fee on everything coming in and out. Anyway, that's a forcing function. Tej Gill's with us. We're going to take a short commercial break. Back in the Worm in a moment.
We're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, Tej, centralized command structure, and then I got to talk about the greatest coffee in the world, because I need a big pot, and we're going to need big pots through Thursday night. By the way, Thursday we're going to do wall-to-wall coverage. Don't read. The Axios is saying it's going to be was it potpourri? It's a potpourri of a speech. That is not a phrase that I've ever heard Donald John Trump. I think it means a bouquet of many different flavors. I don't know. I just know this is the guy that said locker room. It's not locker room banter. It's locker room talk. So I don't, exactly. He's not a potpourri guy. Decentralized command structure, sir.
Yeah. I just want to also touch on, the hardliners that are now running Iran. They're not just hardliner Iranian nationalists. So it's not just about the fight for Iran. These guys are religious extremists. So they believe Islam should control the entire Middle East and the world. So we took out the moderates, and now we're dealing with religious extremists and Iranian nationalists. So they want to control the entire Middle East. And then on the other side, you have Israel, and they want to control the Middle East. And then on our side, we want denuclearization, and we want freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. So it's tough to bring this thing to an end. That's at this point. So we'll see what happens.
Stand by. That's why I think the president's done the forcing function of the 20%. That'll get everybody's attention in that region, including the Royal Navy, everybody. Talk to me about, I need a big pot of Warpath coffee right now. It's going to be one of those days all the way through Thursday night and then Friday to get the right message and to drive it. Where do I go?
You go to warpath.coffee. That's the website. And then for the War Room Posse, it's promo code War Room. It's 15% off right now, your entire order. And we got free shipping over $85. That's always up there. So warpath.coffee, promo code War Room. If you haven't tried it, try it. Read the almost 19,000 5-star reviews on the website. It is the best coffee out there. It's never bitter, never acidic. You can drink it straight black. You don't need milk and sugar with this coffee. It's literally the best coffee out there. So if you like dark roast, try the Mariners blend. If you want a medium, get the breakfast blend or the summer blend. And then we've got all the flavor. We got K-Cups, we got espresso, we got hats, mugs, everything. So just go on there and read the reviews and then figure out which coffee you want to try and try it.
How many
coffee, promo code War Room.
By the way, we put Tej through the ringer when we first got involved with him about the dark roast, because that's the espresso. I think it was a year and a half till he perfected it, and it's perfect. But then Tej, you get successful. The next thing I know, I got a potpourri of flavors coming out of Warpath. Of course, they're huge sellers. So, but this is how you get 19,000 5-star reviews. You have met market demand, and the flavors. I'm the first guy I was like, when he came to me and says, we're going to do decaf, I go, decaf cuts across the heart of what Warpath is. And and it's been such a huge seller for you, as everything has. I just want to tell the audience, just try this. This was the whole thing about Tej when he first left, because Tej used to run security for me after he was a gunman. And the whole pitch was that, it was the SEALs got the best equipment, best training, everything, but they're drinking crappy Navy brew. And I've spent enough mid-watches with that horrible coffee the Navy has that we wanted to do something that would make the Navy proud. Warpath coffee. You got to drink it black. It's made to just, if you've never had it black, just try it. When you get this coffee, just do it black. Where do they go right now, Tej? I got to bounce. I got Mike Lindell here, but where do they go? And I want people to try it black, and the taste will overwhelm you. Where do they go, Tej?
Warpath.coffee, use promo code WARROOM. Warpath.coffee, promo code WARROOM.
Amazing, sir. Thank you, Tej, and thank you for your insights
Thanks,
about what's happening in the Middle East war. Do I have Lindell? Yep. Mike Lindell. I want to get to the greatest sale in 250 years. It took us 250 years to get here, but in Thursday night, because now they're spinning. MSNBC's got it. They're telling us it's just all this crap. It's all the wing nuts like Tina Peters and Mike Lindell. I know you're looking forward to seeing this because a lot of it, I think, is going to be about the machines. There's going to be mail-in ballots too, I'm sure, but it's also in a whole process. But a lot of it's about machines. Do you feel vindicated? Are you going to feel vindicated on Thursday night, sir? Given you've spent, I don't know, 60, 70, $80 million of your own money. They tried to bankrupt you. The FBI tried to put you in prison. All of it, sir?
I'm not worried about really feeling vindicated. I just want the whole country to know the urgency of this that's been going on for 5 years here since we found all this stuff that happened in 2020. It's revealed all this information over the last 5 years. These are facts. I want the whole country to be on board. I don't care what party you're in, to know that when Obama said our elections are critical infrastructure, he deemed them as such. We've got to do something right now so foreign countries can't interfere in our elections, and we have citizens voting in our elections. It's pretty common sense. So I'm really looking forward to, coming out where all, it'll be amazing if Fox actually reports on this and says everything that comes out of this report. That's what I'm looking forward to. I guess I'll feel a little vindicated going, hey, I was right the whole time. But for Fox or Newsmax to actually report that, hey, look at these problems, Mike was right, that would be kind of cool.
That would be nice. Okay, talk to me about it took 250 years to get to the sale. What is it? Why is it so special?
Yeah, this is the last day of that sale where it's where two sales collide. You guys, we actually now have a bundle pack we put together with the sale that comes once every 250 years. It's a 4-pack special that we have on our pillows there, and $49.98. You guys, if I can see, yeah, $49.98. 4 pillows. You get two of our classic My Bed pillows and then 2 of our Go Anywhere pillows for $49.98. We bundled a special there, and then it collides also with our Mega 2 sale. That's our Giza Dream Sheets, our My Pillow, our Giza Dream Sheets as low as $29.98. Our towels, $39.98, 6-piece towel sets. And then our mattress toppers and our pillows, the mattress toppers low as $99.98. But these sales colliding now, remember the ones ending today, we ran it over till this morning. It comes once every 250 years. And this is it, everybody. So right now, go to the website, mypillow.com/war room. Check it all out there right now. All the sales that we're having that are colliding. Call 800-873-1062. 800-873-1062. Promo code War Room.
Best one in the business. Charlie Kirk Show with Andrew Colvette and the team is next. We're back here at 5. I'll do a handoff from bowling. We'll see you at 5 o'clock.
We're united, strong, and free.